Welcome back, WDRB Media. This is Swiss Money Radio, your host, LJ Shepard. And I have Centerio Greer from New York Life and Michael Williams from International Minute Press, two entrepreneurs that I think could have a lot of influence on individuals if you listen and hear their words. Now, Centerio, I want to go to you first because you probably talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. And I know working at New York Life, you have to have a new entrepreneur mindset because how you get your clients. Absolutely. So what do you do on an everyday basis to get that mindset to wake up in the morning to say how to motivate yourself? Because a lot of times it's just motivation. Sure. And most people don't have that motivation to jump into that. So what do you do to motivate yourself that you can help the next person?
Sure. Great question. And my answer may be a little odd, but honestly, I'm passionate about what I do. Mm-hmm. So the motivation is automatic. I want to educate and empower people, specifically the people that look like me, on
how. You're on the radio.
Okay. People of color to make smart decisions, because when it comes to wealth and how wealth is created, it's not that we're not capable of doing it. Mm-hmm. We've just never been shown step by step how it's done. Agreed. And there's a blueprint to creating that wealth. And at New York Life, I've learned a lot of the secrets of the wealthy. So, about 2 years into my career is when I really understood this is what my calling, like this is what I'm supposed to do. So my motivation is the thought that a lot of wealth is going to be created, a lot of checks are going to be delivered, a lot of houses are going to be paid off, a lot of retirement funds are going to be funded comfortably, right? There's going to be a lot of my clients that aren't just dependent on Social Security. And when they see hope and when they understand that their retirement is realistic and it's tangible, and they get excited and they tell all of it, that's what drives me. So so that's my motivation.
And Mike, same question. What's your motivation as the entrepreneur getting up every morning? Because you know that check is not guaranteed to be there on Friday.
Right.
Like most people. So since you know that, what is your motivation to keep you pounding the streets?
This is going to sound just cliche. Some people may call it corny. But, I have 2 daughters and a wife that live in the house with me. Mm-hmm. And when I walk out that door every day, and I look back and I see the 3 of them, that's my motivation. Mm-hmm. Because I'm responsible for the 3 of them. Yep. My wife's a fully grown woman, but as her husband, I'm responsible for her and those 2 girls of mine, because I'll tell you one thing, they're still asking. I don't have the job that I had, but they're still asking for it, and they deserve it, because that's the way I raised them. So the one thing about me is I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep hustling, so to speak, because I know that those 3 depend on me and they're counting on me to get it done.
You said something. There's a scripture in the Bible in the beginning of Genesis, and when Eve ate the apple, mm-hmm. God spoke, and He didn't say, "Where's Eve?"
Yes,
He said, "Adam, where art thou?"
Yes, He did.
Wait, I ain't do nothing. Right. Why are you calling me? Right. She's the one that do it. So being married, and I understand what you're saying, because family member is not going to go to your wife.
That's right.
They're going to come to you.
That's right.
Why did you let this happen?
That's right.
Am I in the ballpark?
You're absolutely in the ballpark. You knocked it out of the ballpark.
It's strong.
So let me ask you a question. When you have that motivation and you're moving every single day, what was that one thing? How did you get over that fear to start? Because I know everybody has a fear. Mm-hmm. And fear to me is false evidence appearing real.
Yes, it is.
So how did you get over that to overcome that fear? That's where I really want to tap into.
Well, I look back on, I would go to, even when I was in education, I would go to certain meetings and I would see people driving certain cars and I would see them doing certain things. And at that point, I'm counting my money. I'm like, well, I need to do this. I need to do that. And I wasn't in control of it. Every day I had a salary. Yeah. And no matter how much work I did, I wasn't going to get any more, wasn't going to get any less. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'm putting in 80 plus hours a week. I'm not going to get paid any more for that because I'm on salary. So I said to myself, if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to put that much time and work into it, why can't I do it for myself and be able to pay myself and do for Mike as opposed to doing for someone else? And that was the motivation. And trust me, I do a lot of talking to myself when I'm driving in the cars from seeing certain customers and clients. I do a lot of talking to myself. And I have to keep myself motivated to say, hey, Mike, you got to keep doing this. You got to keep doing that. On the days when not a lot of business is coming in, okay, what didn't I do today? What do I need to do different tomorrow to make sure that I don't have another day like I had today? And those days are going to come. But you have to stay motivated to say, I stepped into this. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. Because if you do that and you don't do that, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
And so I just have to talk to myself every day.
Yeah, every day. I'm with you on that one. And Soteria, so since you work with entrepreneurs from time to time, I'm assuming you have clients that's small business owners. What are some of the fears that you hear every day that, like I said, somebody who's listening right now, sitting behind that cubicle, but what are some of the fears that you can help them get over that you already seen other people become successful in their small business?
Sure. Well, so I was fortunate growing up. I saw entrepreneurship right in front of me. My grandmother was the first entrepreneur I met, right? She started, she was in the daycare business long before I was born.
Okay.
Shout out to Grandma, Lanier Greer, lady Grandma. Fairyland Daycare, by the way, if anybody needed daycare. So, yeah, I mean, she told me her story because when I got older and I was old enough to understand, Grandma really did something special here. She started with one daycare center back in the 70s with a $5,000 loan.
Wow.
Right? So, now back then, $5,000 was a lot.
Even just getting a loan is a big deal.
Right, right. So, just listening to her, and anytime I can meet an entrepreneur, I love to hear their story. They all seem to have some commonalities. Number one, they understand where I am now versus my potential, what I could be. I would rather jump. Yeah. I would rather take that step or that leap because I know what my ceiling is here. Now, my floor as a business owner, I'm not sure what that is, but I know my ceiling is a lot higher.
Yeah.
So they rather take that shot. The other thing is they have they understand what they're good at, right? They understand what their goals or their purposes are, and then they just go at them so hard to where if they fail, they're okay with failing because at least it was on me, So that's kind of some of the things I've seen from a lot of business owners I work with.
Now, we could paint a nice, pretty picture of being an entrepreneur and the excitement and what can you get there. But I'll come to Mike in a minute. But from your side of the point, Centerio, what's some of the downfalls of it? Because I know there's some people that win,
right,
and then there's people that lose.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the losses that you've seen that could be prevented, or instead of following somebody who did it right, but also you got to follow somebody who did it wrong just to say, okay, I don't want to do it that way.
Right. Well, and I can even speak from the experience things I've seen in New York life because, like you mentioned earlier, we eat what we kill. Some of the things I've learned is if you always do right by your client or by your customer, everything else will take care of itself. So even when no one's looking, even when you could offer them one product versus another, one may cost a little more, so you make a little bit extra money, but it's not in that person's best interest. I've found to just always do the right thing, always put your clients ahead of you and show them that level of appreciation. They'll continue to come back, and then they'll also refer you and bring other people your way. So
referrals is the key to any business.
Any business. So the people I've seen that failed, they weren't coachable. They weren't willing to go the extra mile because now that you don't have a boss, no one's going to stand over you to tell you to get certain things done.
Yep.
So they relax and don't put forth the effort. So you gotta get up earlier now and go to bed later.
Yeah.
As a business owner, and then hold yourself accountable, have a mentor, and pray, right?
Yeah.
And just do right by your customers. Everything else will take care of itself.
And Mike, touch on some of the failures that you did have I know every day is not a win.
Yeah.
So there is some losses in there. So touch on some of the losses and the pitfalls that held you back, but maybe overcame.
Well, Centaurio said it best. Your clients, your customers, however you want to name them, they have to be able to trust you. Because if they trust you, you're going to grow. And I had to learn that initially. I was out there. Let me get it. Let me eat. Let me get as much as I can. And, I wasn't so much really caring about the customer. And then I had another International Minute Press owner that pulled me to the side and said, "But the one thing you got that sale. That's great. But are they coming back? And so." I was getting a lot of sales, but I wasn't getting a lot of return sales. And so what I had to realize is that I need to let those customers know that not only I want this to be a relationship.
Right.
I don't want it just to be a one-time sale. I want it to be a relationship.
That's right.
And they have to be able to trust me that, Mike is going to do right by me. And I will tell them, just like, you mentioned it perfectly. They say, I want this, I want this, I want this. I know you want that. That's not what you really need. Now I can sell it to you and I'm going to make money off of it, but this is not what you need. So let me get you something that you need that's affordable for you. And they're very appreciative of me saving them money and time and things like that. So just building that trust, and I had to learn that.
So we'll come back to that because it sounds like you are coachable.
Yes.
We'll come back and touch on that. You're listening to Swiss Money Radio. I'm your host, LJ Shepard. Each and every Friday, you want to make sure you tune in at 9 o'clock. We go coast to coast. All you have to do is download the iHeartRadio app or the TuneIn Radio app. It's absolutely free, and just search WDRBmedia.com, and voila, you'll hear this show. We'll come back, wrapping things up. I'm gonna find out where you can catch these two guys at. If you need their business, definitely want to make sure show them some love after all this is said and done. We'll be right back. The voice of the community.